Hi guys, welcome back to BigJon TV. On today's What's Cooking Wednesday, I've got a recipe that's by request. Now I have had a lot of UK recipes requested, but it's not one of those. This one is based on our state fair video. Jon let everyone know that I have a pretty good cinnamon roll recipe. So today I'm sharing that with you. These are bacon cinnamon rolls with maple cream cheese frosting. I had to think about that for a minute. They're not the simplest. They do take a little bit of time. In fact, I'm going to start these on an evening and complete them the following morning. They can be done in a full day if you start early enough, but they are worth it. So let's get going. All right, let's get started on these cinnamon rolls. We're going to put 1 cup of milk into our mixing bowl. And you want this milk to be just over 100 degrees, so nice and warm to the touch, but not burning your skin. Next, we're going to sprinkle on top 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. And we're going to let this sit for about 5 minutes and let it bloom. Alright, our yeast and milk mixture has sat here for about 5 minutes. It started to get a little foamy. We've activated our yeast. Now we're going to turn our mixer on. Okay, I think you can see a little bit better. Next we're going to add in 2 whole eggs, half a cup of brown sugar, half a teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/3 cup melted butter, Alright, we're going to switch to our dough hook now and start to slowly add in our flour. We've got 4 1/2 cups of flour here. And then just start mixing it in. Just keep slowly adding the flour in until it starts to pull away from the sides. Alright, it's gotten really sticky. I'm going to pour the rest of this in. You can see it's starting to pull away from the edge. My flour's gone, but it could use a little bit more. So I'll give it just another couple spoonfuls. We'll see if we can get it to really come away from that bowl. Alright, there it is. You can see that it's come away from the edges of the bowl. There's barely anything left in the bottom. Still a little bit sticky, but you're able to handle it without it sticking to your hands. I've buttered up a silpat. We're going to place our dough on there. A little bit more butter. Just kind of pat it around. We don't want the edges to dry out while it's resting. We'll cover it with a bit of plastic wrap and a towel and let this sit at room temperature for at least 4 hours. It can go as long as overnight. Alright, next up we're going to work on the filling for our cinnamon rolls. We've got 2 softened sticks of butter. These are just about room temperature. Start blending those up and get them nice and fluffy. that's looking great. Next, we're going to add in 1.5 cups of brown sugar. Next, we'll add in 2.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. You will need to occasionally scrape down the bowl. All right, that looks well mixed. Smells fantastic. Final ingredient going in, this is 1 pound of bacon. I've cooked it off and chopped it up very finely. I did reserve about 1/4 cup. This will be for garnishing the top. And it's okay if you get a little bit of bacon grease in there, it'll just add to the extra bacon flavor. And that is it. You can see some of the chunks of bacon in there. This is gonna cook up inside the cinnamon rolls and be fantastic. Let's move on. All right, our dough has rested overnight. It's like doubled in size. It looks fantastic. We're gonna go ahead and work with it on our silpat. We wanna stretch it out into a rectangle about 13 by 10, 8, whatever you can get. Push it around with your hands first. All right, that looks perfect. We're gonna load up our cinnamon brown sugar mixture, cinnamon butter brown sugar mixture. You wanna leave about the last 2 inches free. Go all the way from side to side. And now we start to roll. Just keep folding it over, keep it as tight as you can. Without squeezing out too much of your filling. Get to the end. Stretch the last bit back over towards you so you don't lose any of that good filling. And there we go. Depending how big you want these, I'm going for rather large ones, so I'm aiming to get 6 out of each, out of this log. I've buttered my 9 by 13 baking dish, and these go right inside. All right, we're gonna let these proof for about an hour. I'm gonna let these hang out in a nice warm space. I usually just put them on top of my oven. All right, these have been proofing in my oven for about an hour. They look fantastic. They've doubled in size. They really filled out this pan. These are gonna go into a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes. We'll check them about halfway through and see how they're doing. All right, while those cinnamon rolls are finishing up, we're gonna make our topping. In our bowl, we've got 1 stick of butter and 1 cube of cream cheese. Gonna blend those together. Occasionally you'll need to scrape the edges down to get all the pieces mixed in. Next we'll add in, this is a 1/4 cup of maple syrup and a 1/2 teaspoon of maple extract, just to really intensify that maple flavor in there. We're going to end up adding in about 4 cups of powdered sugar total, but we're going to add it in slowly, a cup at a time, so we don't end up with a frosting that's too thick. You'll occasionally need to scrape down the bowl. And our final cup. One final scrape. All right, there you go. That is our maple cream cheese frosting for our bacon cinnamon rolls. Woo! Look at those. Can you see how bubbly these are around the edges? Gooey, sugary goodness all around the bottom. They are molten lava currently. We're gonna let them cool a little bit, then we will glaze them with our delicious frosting and give them a taste. Be right back. All right, I've let the cinnamon rolls cool just a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and frost them. You want the frosting to melt a little bit, but if you put it on while they're too hot, it'll just liquefy completely. And then it's up to you how thick you want your frosting. And to finish them off, gotta sprinkle that leftover bacon all over the top. Yeah, those are looking fabulous. Let's pull one out and give it a taste. There we go. Let's find someone to taste this with me.
She didn't have to struggle to get me in here for this one. She had to struggle to keep me out until it was done.
Right?
This house smells amazing.
So it's a little bit of a long process to make these. I did start it last night, finished it off today. But yet you can probably worth it.
You can get started the night before. I think that probably makes it just a touch easier, right?
Yeah.
At least for me.
And realistically, you could get as far as plating or panning these up and then refrigerate them until you're ready to bake them.
Yep. Little side story. Jess made these once at a barbecue contest, and they told us to make at least 200 servings.
Yes.
So she made them smaller, but we literally had trays.
I think I had like 10, 15 trays worth.
Nobody showed up.
Yeah.
Like a fraction of the people that they thought actually showed. We had so many left over that they got, I think most of them got wasted.
I was like literally posting on Facebook, who wants cinnamon rolls, come to my house.
We were giving them away for weeks.
Yes. Sorry, I tore off a big old chunk here. They peel apart perfectly. Show them that edge now. There you go.
Ooh, it's still hot.
It is still warm,
Oh.
but that's the only way to eat a cinnamon roll. You can't eat cold cinnamon rolls.
I tell you, yours already looks and smells better than the ones at the fair. And tastes so much better.
I think because the bacon gets baked in with the roll itself, it infuses more of the flavor. because they're mass producing them, they can't have them all tasting like bacon.
Right.
So I understand just putting the bacon on top, but...
And I'm sure you could leave the bacon out entirely if that's not your thing.
Or replace it with something else. Instead of the bacon, add nuts, add chunks of apple would be excellent.
It doesn't overpower it. It's not like, ooh, that tastes like greasy bacon. There's just a touch of smoky, touch of salty mixed in there. Mm-hmm. It's fantastic. This is delicious. These are so good.
I will say that these are sweeter than the ones at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
But as an occasional treat, I'm okay with that.
Absolutely.
Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video.
I did.
I'm glad you guys requested this. I haven't made these in ages.
Gave her the reason. There we go.
Right?
Thanks.
So, catch you on the next one.
See you guys.
Bye.